Hi everyone, it's Renita Baird, PEI's medium, and I'm in my kitchen today. And the reason why we are here, we are going to make some almond flour banana pancakes. Now, if you are like me and have a lot of food sensitivities, you will be cooking and baking with a lot of alternative flours. So for me, I eat very paleo, which is low glycemic, it's low on the inflammatory markers, it's low sugar, it's gluten-free and dairy-free. I know, right? All 5 things. But that keeps me really healthy and vibrant and allows me to do what I do with a lot of joy and with a lot of ease. So the recipe that I'm going to be sharing with you today is almond flour banana pancakes. It is super easy. It's one of my favorite breakfasts if I'm craving a little bit of pancakes. And it's from the Clean and Delicious YouTube channel by Dani, Spies. So the recipe calls for 1 cup of almond flour, 3 tablespoons of tapioca flour, 1.5 teaspoons of baking powder, which is gluten-free, a pinch of sea salt, a 1/4 cup of an alternative milk. Now they suggest almond milk, but my preference is coconut milk or oat milk that's gluten-free. They also ask for some maple syrup, some vanilla, and 1 egg. So we'll start by adding all of the dry ingredients into my bowl. So start with the almond flour, the tapioca flour, baking powder, just a pinch of sea salt, and I'm just going to give that a little bit of a stir. Oh, and I also forgot the banana. So with the banana, you use a full banana, but in the recipe itself, you use 1/3 of the banana, and then the rest of the banana I slice on top of the pancakes when they're done. So what I'm doing right now is I'm just kind of pressing down because I find almond flour can be quite lumpy, and it's not something that you put through a sieve or use a sifter for either. I just kind of go around and break up the clumps, and it really doesn't matter if you do this or not, but this is just my personal preference. So once I get all of the lumps done and all of the dry ingredients stirred together, I'm going to make a well in the center of my flour, and I'm going to start adding my wet ingredients. So I'm going to start with my milk and my egg. And I'm just going to give that a little stir, break the egg up. And I want to stir until all of the dry is now wet looking. And there's very little sugar in this, which I absolutely love. So the next thing I'm going to add is just 1 tablespoon of maple syrup. Now this is 1.5, this measuring spoon. So I'm just going to fill it about 3/4 full with the maple syrup. I love maple syrup as a sweetener. You don't need very much of it either. And a little bit of the vanilla extract, 1 teaspoon. And I'll put a link in this video of the original recipe so that you can look on it, and then the 1/3 of the mashed banana. So banana's so naturally sweet that you don't need a lot of the maple syrup in this recipe. And I just give it a little whip. Now this recipe makes 4 pancakes, and what they suggest that you do is that you use 1/4 of a cup. So I just reuse my milk because it asks for 1/4 cup of milk. I just reuse this, and this will make 4 really nice sized pancakes. So I'm just going to pause so we can then move to the stove. So we're now at the stove, and while I've been stirring, I've been preheating my pan, and then I've just added some olive oil, and I want the pan to be really coated so that the pancakes don't stick. So I'm going to take a quarter cup of the batter, like so, and then I'm going to put it in my pan, and see how it doesn't stick because it's wet, and then I'm going to spread it out. Now my pan might be a little bit hot, and I usually like to do 2 pancakes at a time. There we go. So it's a little bit different than your regular batter. Normally, using an almond flour batter, I'd let it sit for about 10 minutes before I put it right into the pan, but this morning I've just put it right into the pan, but that's not a big deal. Doesn't take very long to cook, but as you can see, it's still not ready to be flipped. So we'll let it sit there for about 4 to 5 minutes maybe. Now my pan, I need to get a new one because my Teflon is really starting to wear on this. You just watch that. And I'm going to get a plate. Okay. So it's starting, you can see it's starting to cook around the edges first because you start to get those little bubbles. And underneath is nice and golden brown. So I'm going to try to flip mine. See? Oh, this is nice and lovely. And I don't want to flatten them down just yet because I want the baking powder to kind of let them rise a little bit. I like my pancakes just a little bit fluffy. And I let them go for a little bit. I'm just going to pause and let them finish cooking. So here's what the end result is like. You get 4 really large fluffy pancakes. Now if you want to be a little adventurous, you can make them into banana chocolate chip using these Enjoy Life mini chips, which are gluten-free, dairy-free. They're made in a peanut-free facility, so these are fantastic. And if you want to be a little bit extra, you can always add a little bit of coconut whipped cream on the side with some berries. But today what I'm going to do is I'm going to serve mine with just a little bit of maple syrup and the leftover part of that banana. So I only used 1/3 of my banana. So what I do is I just take the rest of my banana, because I love bananas in the morning because they're so full of potassium. And I'm just going to slice my banana very thinly over the top of my pancakes. And I'm going to take a little bit of maple syrup and I'm just going to drizzle just a little tiny bit, just like a little drizzle. And this is a delicious and healthy morning breakfast, or if you want, you can even have it for supper and have a side salad. Anyway, enjoy the rest of your day, everyone, and I really hope you enjoyed. If you did, please click like and please subscribe. Bye-bye.